Devil May Cry 3, we're coming up on it. All right. Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. We're hopping into it. I am messaging a bunch of friends going into DMC3. One of my friends usually jumps in. He was the commentary with me on Devil May Cry 2. His name's Nick. Fun guy to play the game with. Fun guy to have, alongside. He loves Devil May Cry 3, and I really wanted to wait until he got on, but I do want to get a few games in before I go. It was just funny to have him alongside with the commentary, so I hope he jumps in. Or I might just save 3. I don't know. I guess we're just chilling here for right now. I'm going to wait until after I get back from my dad's. I'm going to message my friends. I guess we're just chilling here. Just having a little discussion on Devil May Cry in general. Watched the anime on Netflix, binged that in a single night on Friday night, and I personally, I'm not attached to like the storylines whatsoever. I like the remake that they came out with. When was that? Like back in 2013 or something? DMC Devil May Cry console game. Yeah, 2013. I liked the DMC Devil May Cry 2013 game. That was fun for me. I played 3 and 4, and then they came out with DMC Devil May Cry, trying to really get a we're trying to just reboot it. Ninja Theory had hands in it and stuff like that, so that was pretty nice. But at the same time, I'm just happy that I got to play it. I didn't hate it, but I'm glad they kind of still continued on with the storyline. This was just, again, Devil May Cry 1, way better of a game, way better of a game than 2. 2 was just like, I'm never touching this again. And I will admit one thing, the artwork that they have here for Dante does look badass, but literally that's it. This is the only part of him that looks badass. Everywhere else, it's the same flat expression, bad wording. It was just like, I don't know how they even sold this, man. Like, going back in time, how did they even sell this? Yeah, Devil May Cry 1, going into the anime, that was a whole lot of fun. I enjoyed the anime and like the interpretations of a lot of things, and the similarities between that. It mostly, honestly, it felt like more like they took more from Devil May Cry 3, introducing a lot of the characters, but grounding it more in reality. There was a whole American aspect to it. And you know what? That's funny, because it's, I think that's, very purposeful and very on point of America. At the same time, it was different. They wanted something different, and I totally get that, and I'm okay with it. I'm down with it. I like different. I like refreshing new takes on old IP. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like when you start to fuck with the source material, and I don't agree with that. I think that if you have source material, doing a one-to-one is just retexturing and updating the cutscenes at that point. If you're doing a one-to-one, I forget which one it was. It was like Sonic. Sonic was never a one-to-one. Sonic's history in like the comics and the Archie comics and everything before that, very different storylines. Which other one did they do? Gosh, I forget. There was another video game one that they didn't do one-to-one that was like really good still. We're not going to talk about Borderlands. Don't even think about it. The movie or show or whatever they did does not exist. But yeah, if you're once again, if you're just tuning in, I'm not starting right yet. I was going to start, but I really want my best friend here, one of my best friends here, to have commentary on the side. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then he is in love with Devil May Cry 3. I think this is his favorite Devil May Cry. I like this Devil May Cry 3. It was my first one into the series. You've got a lot of neat combinations of like storyline, dialogue. The graphics weren't too bad either for the time. The mechanics were fantastic. And then that just led me on to Devil May Cry 4, which after I had played 3 and 4 came out almost immediately afterwards, I fell in love. And then we're going to be getting to Devil May Cry 4 probably by the end of this week, because I am going to have to, if I don't beat Devil May Cry 3 tonight, I do work pretty much overtime every single day. So after work, I really don't have too much time to do anything. So like, I'd love to do it after work. What have you. But yeah, we're just, we're chilling right now, and we'll come back to this afterwards. Yeah, I think waiting on this is just fine. There were some elements of Devil May Cry 2 I did like. Don't get me wrong; it's not a completely, like, 100% worst game ever. You know, I've played indie game slop where people are just trying out new things. The thing I liked from Devil May Cry 2 Versus 1, dedicated dodge button, even though the dodge was shit. It was still a dodge and dedicated dodge, and it didn't matter where you were locked on or where the camera was, you could just always dodge, which I liked. Wow, that's the extent of what I liked about that. The wall running and the dodging against the wall and doing all sorts of spin shit. That was... I was okay with that. It was neither here nor there. It was more just animation slop for that bit. But like, oh, it looks cool, add it in, and then it does nothing else but look cool. Storyline, non-existent. Most of it's played on the exposition game. This thing is very important, and then you don't learn about this thing at all until they say, oh, this thing was very important, or, oh, you have that named item. Been looking for that for everywhere. I'm glad you got that for me. Did you find what you were looking for? Whatever. Like, and it's just the voice lines and then the story bits are just so dry. Granted, again, this was made by a bunch of different, you know, internal Capcom developers that at that time just everything hodgepodge together. There's no way you could get a storyline or any voice lines together. And I also think they went into a completely wrong direction with the game. Obviously, they course corrected with 3. They course corrected hard with 3. They really were like, hey, we need to go back to what made this game. Go back to what Devil May Cry 1 showed to be why the fans loved it. Because the fans loved it, yeah, there was a little bit of variety with the items, you know, your weapons, your guns. But also, Dante, back when this released, Dante was like badass. Language back then was not, you know, Riz or any of the new wave generation stuff. But back then, he was badass, and his one-liners were great, and they just amplified it. And Devil May Cry 3, honestly, probably has some of the better dialogue out of the first 3. If anything, it's everything about Devil May Cry 3 encapsulates everything about the beginning of Dante. And even Devil May Cry 1. Like, I don't think they understood how big Devil May Cry was going to be. So when they made Devil May Cry 1, they really went in there bare bones. They gave you a single location to go to, and now you're doing all stuff in this single location, and you're not really given too much, like, exposition or backstory or anything like that. But you slowly learn it throughout the game. You know, Trish comes up and is like, hey, you should come over this way. And Dante reluctantly agrees because she threw a motorcycle at him. And that's about it. And that's all you need to know about the beginning is he threw a motorcycle at her, and or vice versa. He shot it out of the air. He thought that was badass and went along with her ploy. Needless to say, honestly, not a bad game. Fantastic. Let's see here. Two, I couldn't tell you what the story's about. Some dude wanted power, and then he needed artifacts, but the artifacts, we didn't find a single fucking artifact on our own. It was everybody else looking for the artifacts, and they found it, and then we just caught up with them. And then, no, we gotta kill them because, oh, everybody got the artifacts together for this one idiot, and now she's gonna go, like, it's dumb. And then they included some bosses that were from Devil May Cry 1, but it just felt like asset, you know, like, oh shit, let's utilize some things out of Devil May Cry 1 to make it feel like, oh, it's connected in a way. This is not connected. Honestly, if I were betting, I would say this Dante does not exist anymore. Like, in the eyes of Capcom and any future storyline, this Dante was like a multiversal Dante. Like, he was a Dante that was more serious, like Virgil. Because, like, look at that. Like, look how moody he looks. He's got a smirk on him. He's got a smirk and just fucking moody. And if you look at 4 and 5, Dante is nowhere close to this. He's more cavalier. He's relaxed. He's got stubble on his face. He doesn't have this serious look about him until you piss him off. So yeah, it's just comforting to know that I never have to play 2 ever again. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to get in close to it. And we can start with Devil May Cry 3 when I get back. We're probably going to do that in about 5 hours, probably about 8:30 Eastern time. So Devil May Cry 3 in about 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours. If whoever decides to watch this again, come on, join us. You know, I got my chat open, and we're also gonna have my buddy Nick, who is a diehard Devil May Cry 3 fan. He's gonna have a lot of fun watching me play through this. I've played through it before. It doesn't stick to my mind as much as 4 did, and I played the shit out of 4. But in any case, thank you for coming by. Sorry for the preemptive stream. I was thinking about starting it now, but I want to have the commentary here with Nick, and he is just getting going for the day, so he's going to be on when I get on later tonight, so we can both have a great time with it. So, talk to y'all later. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye now. Oh, and if you can still hear me, yeah, I switched from OBS over to Streamlabs, and OBS just hates me. So we're sticking with Streamlabs for the time being. A lot of that information, like social media follow and username and stuff like that. That's all stuff that used to be filled out. Now we're here with just basic default stuff. Like, what do we got for offline? Offline? Yeah, subscribe, follow. Be back soon. Follow username. Like, that's funny. Properties. Do I... Oh gosh, change me. Okay, so... Oh, we can change certain options of that. Username. Well, unfortunately, I don't have an Instagram, so that's done. We can trash that. Yep. And then we could trash the Twitter, because I don't use Twitter, and it's now X. And then subscribe. I can edit that too. Hex. Dot. Is that my name? Is that my channel name? Who knows? You're along for the ride while I edit stuff. Hex dot. How's that look? Ending screen. Subscribe to Hex dot. I would like that to be a little bit bigger. You mind making it a tiny bit bigger? And center it? Can we center this? I don't know how well that's going to center, but we'll definitely take a look. Oh, that's kind of shitty, but we'll lower it. Subscribe to Hex dot. That's better. That's pretty centered. That works. And then the Be Back Soon screen. Subscribe. Hex dot.